last week. The Chiefs beat the Ravens 33-28. That was a good matchup, and I probably see that maybe in the future in the playoffs as well. The Vikings got back on track after losing to the Packers last week. They beat the Raiders 34-14 at home. My Patriots go to 3-0. They beat the Jets 30-14. Brady passes Drew Brees for second most all-time in pass touchdowns in NFL history with 522. The Detroit Lions stay undefeated at 2-0-1, beating the Eagles 27-24. Hopefully the Eagles can bounce back tonight. The Carolina Panthers still without Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton's going to be a question mark moving forward. Defeat the Arizona Cardinals 38-20. The New York Giants get a huge comeback in the third quarter, defeating the Buccaneers 32-31. Matt Gay missed a game-winning field goal and two extra points that cost them that game. But that is, that's just that. The Texans defeated the San Diego Chargers 27-20 to move to 2-1. Deshaun Watson has taken a beating. That cannot happen all year. The Saints, without Drew Brees, go into Seattle and get their first win without Brees as a starter for the first time since 2005, beating the Seahawks 33-27. I think we all have Seattle there. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who are proving me wrong, guys. I had them being fine this season. Well, they lost the 49ers 24-20. This is the first time the Niners have started 3-0 since 1998. The Rams beat up the Browns. Well, I shouldn't say beat them up, but beat them 20-13 on Sunday Night Football. So that's that. And Monday night, the Chicago Bears moved to 2-1, sending the Redskins to 0-3 as a 31-15 win for the Chicago Bears. So that is that, guys. So let me take a look as we can kind of preview some of the games coming up this week. As we know, the Thursday night game is going on right now between Green Bay and the Eagles. So that's the two teams that are battling right now. The game, Tennessee will travel to Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, to play the Falcons. It's a battle of 1 and 2 teams coming up. That'll be a battle between those two teams. The Browns will have a division game as they travel to play Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. These are all the 1 o'clock games. The battle of the 3-0 teams in the AFC East. The Patriots travel to Buffalo to play the Bills. 3-0. That should be a very good football game. And again, you can't, even as a Patriots fan, overlook that, because guess what? It doesn't always work out that way. And, it doesn't always work out. So we have to make sure that we're here and stuff like that. So that is that, guys. We have that. Ooh, I have a couple callers on the line. All right. Let's see here. I think. Lewis, is this you?
Yes, it is. I'm here, brother.
How are you doing? How you doing, bud?
All right.
Good to hear from you. Good to hear from you.
Considering, I've been through this week, but I figured, you know what, sometimes the best thing to do is just get back into this as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. Like I said, man, thoughts and prayers to you and your family. Sorry for your loss. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I think the ones that could really get afraid though are the Jets, because, of course, how they're doing this year, 0-3, and, of course, now we're our third-string quarterback who hasn't done really anything, just like it's a lost cause this season.
Yeah, and then, I did see something, too, that Le'Veon Bell's been on Twitter trying to keep all the haters away and stuff like that, so can't think that that's the way that he wanted to start his career with the Jets, and they've had a rough start to the season. They have to play Miami twice. Do you think they can beat the Dolphins? Did they have a shot at beating Miami?
I think those games are going to come down to it's going to be a tie in both games because they're both that bad. Nobody can get a winner.
Okay.
I know I sound like being sarcastic, but it could be true.
Well, we had a tie in week 1 between the Lions and the Cardinals, so anything can happen.
Well, week 1, that's something else. But when your teams are that bad, it's tough to say that how can anybody even win this game? You know, when that happens.
Right.
It's the battle of the pathetic.
I guess the good news is, again, you know, the Yankees, you guys clinched the division last week, and now you await to see. So who are you pulling for in the wild card? Is it the A's, the Rays, the Indians? Who are you guys pulling for to play against out of those three
I don't
teams?
think I'm going to play the A's because the A's. There are two teams that worry me: the A's and the Twins, because they always play on the BS, especially on their turf. So I'm going to rule those two out. I would hopefully like to play the Indians.
Indians, okay.
Yeah,
because I know.
Forget it. That's a joke.
Well, I mean, they just beat the Yankees 2 games down here. Now, I mean, I know the Yankees have owned them pretty much the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's hard, you know, so I don't expect. And then it's hard too because playoff baseball is so different. Because everything, you know, you lose a game, okay, oh well, we're playing tomorrow. Well, you can't lose too many games in the playoffs because you lose 2 or 3, you're out. So especially first round.
I've seen the Yankees lose the first game in a series before, and they've come back to win. I've seen them lose the second game, they still come back. So, you know what? You lose the first game. Is it going to worry me? No, not at all. One game does not make a series.
And I also think, too, Lewis, with that lineup that you guys have in New York, I don't think you got anything to worry about. No. I think they can hit their way back against a lot of teams. I think the only team out there that, again, I picked them to play the Dodgers in the World Series anyway, but I think the only team that you really have to worry about outside of Minnesota is the Astros. And I think if you can win 1 or 2 of those games where you're going to face Verlander, Cole, and Greinke, if you can win 1 or 2 of those games, you know, you get a lucky hit here or there. Yeah. I mean, if you can get 1 or 2 there, I think you got a shot at beating them. But they have a good lineup, too. So that's the scary part. They can hit the ball as well. So I don't know, you know, it's going to come down to pitching and defense, as it always does to win a World Series. It's pitching and defense. It's
been a very weird, very strange year for baseball records-wise. I mean, look at this. You had 4 teams. Oh, Green Bay's going to score a touchdown. Nope, it's stuck at the 5. Excuse me. Anywho, we had 4 teams this year that 100 wins, and we had just as many teams with 100 losses. So a very strange year.
And I think also, too, Lewis, there was, 10 teams that set all-time records for home runs as a team. I know the Twins.
And the Twins broke a record for the most home runs with 300 last night.
Are we assuming, or should we just say that the balls are probably been changed and the league just doesn't want to come out and tell us that?
Exactly. You can say all you want, but we know those balls are charged up.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're using Wonder Bats.
It's a good question because, I mean, it has to be something. And I mean, when MLB purchases Rawlings, you know that something's going on. So obviously the balls are juiced.
The strange thing is that, you know, attendance isn't really up anywhere and TV ratings are down flat. So obviously people are not really buying this. They're not, you know, I don't know what it is, but or is it just because now it's football season, and of course, like I've said, that most people turn their attention to football this time of year. Is that a factor? Because, you know, I was looking at the ad reports, because I look at this every week and like, ooh, boy, those are not great numbers for baseball for Fox at all. Yeah.
Right.
Once upon a time, when they got the rights 20 years ago, was still decent, and those were the early afternoon games. But over the last decade, they had just like tanked.
Well, I know Lewis. They've been trying to bring people back. They're trying to figure, you know, how to shorten games and make games shorter.
Not gonna happen. You can try all you want. You cannot shorten a game.
I think the only solution, and I know this isn't going to happen either, is to shorten the season, and that's not going to happen either because the owners make too much money, so they're not going to do that either. So baseball.
Here's a question that my partner asked a question earlier. And I know this is going to sound like a ridiculous question because I know I'm going to get flack for these answers, but my partner said, should a regular season baseball game be called a tie after 12 innings. I say, you know what? You play 162 games a year. If you play to a tie every now and then, so what?
Yeah.
So what? Because now some people are like, no, can't do that. That's not natural. That's not the way baseball is. Or something like, well, you don't want to wear out the players, and I gotta agree. I have to go with that because talk about that 19-inning game that happened on Tuesday. Come on, the players are probably exhausted.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what? 4:30 time?
Yeah, I mean, and as you know too, there used to be ties in hockey. So why can't there be ties in baseball?
Yeah.
So I mean, why can't there be ties in baseball?
Well, I think Tom Hanks will play this. There's no crying in baseball, and there's no tying in baseball. Ooh.
Yeah.
However, it's not exactly true because there have been rare instances where there has been a tie in baseball, especially in the last few days of the season, where the matchups are pretty much set. Because I remember one game back in, was around 2001 or something. The Yankees and someone else were playing a game. It was in the 15th inning. There was no winner, but the conditions were becoming so horrible. I mean, the bats are flying out of the players' hands, and the other team was not in contention. It's like, you know what? We're going to call it a tie. I don't care. All right?
Okay.
It's 3-3, 15th inning. It's the last game of the season. Yankees are in. Tampa Bay, whoever is out. Forget it.
Right.
So there has been rare instances where there has been a tie under, circumstances.
Well, I have to agree with you, Lewis. They're going to have to do something because, again, like you said, you play a 162-game season, and you keep going into these, 18, 19-inning games. You're playing a whole other game. You got to play another game the next day. So you're coming back out. You're sending these guys out, say, at 7:30 our time, or if you're on the West Coast, it's 4:30. It's 10:30 our time, 7:30 their time. But I mean, if you say you're a fan of a West Coast team, you're staying up late. You're trying to watch the game before you have to get up and go to work the next day, and it's 4:00 in the morning, and you're still up watching a baseball game because it's in the 18th inning, and they're still going on, and then they have to play a game the next day. So
the only thing is playoff hockey.
Yeah. Well, yeah, playoff hockey changes everything. They have the shootout during the regular season.
Right.
Or what I think what hockey should do as far as when it gets to the playoffs, they should do the 3-on-3 thing that they do during the regular season. It would make overtime so much more exciting to be, to do that during the post.
Well, the thing is that, the purists would probably think, oh, it's too gimmicky, it's too cheap. You gotta play 5-on-5. It's natural. That's how it's done. Nobody wants, because I think fans might get cheated out of it. They might feel like there's something, they want to keep it as natural as possible in the playoffs.
Well, I mean,
I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. But again, I mean, maybe that should be looked at in the future to be changed and all that stuff. So, but like I said,
why not? Well, because
I do agree with the ties in baseball.
Although there is something with that because back in the old days, well, I mean, in Olympic hockey, there was still sudden death, but they went, like 2, 3, 4 times. But then I think it was 84, whatever, they adapted the shootout in Olympic and World Cup play. And in 1994, it came down to a shootout.
Right. Well, and also too, as you know, that when you get to Olympic hockey or World Cup, the ice is a bigger surface and wider. So that automatically brings more into effect because you're playing on a wider sheet of ice and it's longer. But and the rules are different. There are some rules that are different than they are in the NHL as well.
Well, they don't call penalties in playoffs,
Right.
But if you're a man down in overtime, you can feel something about the change because that is the pure advantage right there. And one breakaway goal can end the game right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I miss Gary Thorne calling the games.
I do too. And
he's calling Baltimore Oriole games. Oh, Gary,
yes,
I'm sorry for you.
Well, yeah, he's got a long way to get back to being good again, especially with Baltimore. I think they're going to be the Dreller sellers of the